This tutorial is obviously all about gradient. Gradient is about determining the steepness of the slope. Some slopes are particularly steep, while other slopes are much more gentle. This can be relevant to us for a whole number of reasons. It can help us determine where we want to build houses, where we should construct roads, where we should work out where bike tracks or we should run or walk. Also can be useful for planning rescues during emergency events. So here we have a slope, and in order to calculate how steep it is, we need to know two things. We need to know its rise, how high it is. We also need to know its run, how long the slope is. And we remember that, or we calculate that using a very simple equation. Gradient is equal to rise over run. So we talk about gradient in terms of a ratio. So an answer for gradient might be something like 1 to 40. That means for every 1 meter of rise, we have 40 meters of run. Or it could be 1 to 5. Every 1 meter of rise is 5 meters of run. Now, we need to bear something in mind, that the rise and the run, set up as they are both the numerator and the denominator. You would know this from maths. In order to get a ratio, we need to divide both the rise and the run by the numerator. So that would be, imagine that the rise was 60 meters for this mountain, and imagine that the run was 1,000 meters. Now, simply calculating 60 divided by 1,000 would not give us a ratio. So we need to divide 60 by 60, and the answer is up here, which gives us 1. Then we divide 1,000 by the 60 as well, which gives us 1 to 16.7 meters. And that's how we calculate it. Okay, let's practice that. So here we have a contour map. It's important that we note that the contour interval for this map is 5 meters, and that the scale for this map is 1 centimeter is equal to 10,000 centimeters in real life. And we're going to be working between these 2 points here, between point A and between point B. So the first thing we need to do is recall that the equation we're using is rise over run. Now, A, let's find out what its rise is. A is at 140 meters. Here is 150. Using this index line, we can track back along to here. And obviously, 145, 140 is where A is. And B, if we come up, here we have this index line, 175. So we're going 5 up, so it's going to be 180. So to find out how high we've gone up, and we've traveled from A to B, we simply subtract the height of A from the height of B. And that will equal to 40. So here we have our rise information, 40 meters. Let's determine our run. To do that, we're going to need to measure the distance between the two. And here on this ruler, it is clearly 4 centimeters. So we take our 4 centimeters. Every 1 centimeter is equal to 10,000 centimeters. So we times that 4 centimeters by 10,000 centimeters, which obviously gives us 40,000 centimeters. So now we have our run, but here's the tricky bit. We're in different units. This one is in meters. This one is in centimeters. We have to have them in the same units. So the easiest way to do that is we know that if we cancel out 2 zeros from centimeters, just like this, it will convert it into meters. So we take the 2 zeros off, and that will become 400 meters. Now we're ready to calculate it. So we divide the 40 by itself, which gives us 1 down the bottom there. Then we divide the 400 by 40 as well, which gives us 10. So the gradient in this one is 1 to 10. For every 1 meter we go up, we're traveling along 10 meters. Let's try it again. This time we're going to work from X to Y. The contour interval and the scale of the map have stayed the same. Rise over run. X is at 140 meters. I'll let you go back and figure that out to see if I'm right. And Y is at 175. So we simply subtract, that's the wrong way around, we simply subtract 140 from the 175, and that should be 35 meters. So here we have our rise of 35. Let's measure across, bring that ruler in. That is 3 centimeters, give or take. So we type 3 centimeters by the 10,000 centimeters, and that gives us 30,000 centimeters. Obviously, they're in the wrong units, meters and centimeters, so we have to scrub 2 zeros off there, scrub them off, and that converts it into 300 meters. We divide by the numerator, gives us 1, 2, 8.6. There we have the gradient between X and Y. Okay, this is an opportunity for you now where you're going to do it yourselves. The contour interval for this map is 20 meters. and the scale is 1 centimetre to 50,000 centimetres. So calculate the gradient for the following points between C and D. Here is point C, there is point D. Between O and P, O is here, P is right up towards the top there. And lastly, Q and R, I'm sorry that's slightly cut off, but that is Q and R. And Q is here, R is there. You shouldn't find this too hard. The only other information you're going to need to know is the distance between them, and here are your rulers. Best of luck with that. I don't think you'll find it too hard. This is all you need to do to be able to calculate gradient effectively.